Today is a day of celebration. Hi, I'm Matthew Leffler, and I'm so excited to talk about a story about my oldest son, Michael. Now, I started making these videos to begin with because Michael was so passionate about creating things like this. And as a generally conservative father, I wasn't going to have him make content. I would make content that he recommended, and I would put things in place that he thought were interesting. And I completely agree with his artistic vision of the program. But today's a special day. Today's day is Michael is now going to be attending his home school. We're talking about special education. And so in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Michael's experiences and what he has overcome and how incredibly impressed I am with my son, my beloved son, who I am well pleased. Wayback Machine, 2018, 2019, I sold a company, got a new job. My wife got a new job. We moved from a small house to a small apartment, and we began a different path in our lives. My wife worked in Wisconsin, so she took our youngest son to Wisconsin for daycare every day. It was much more affordable than in Illinois. Daycare's expensive. If you haven't found that out, it's very expensive. And Michael began attending a full-time kindergarten program. The unfortunate part about this situation was Michael has anxiety. Like me, he would get overwhelmed, feel the feelings of fight or flight. And for him, when he was overwhelmed, he would run. He would leave his classroom. He would try to leave the building, and it caused enormous friction. There were times when I'd have to come pick him up because he was unable to regulate himself emotionally. And this is when we started learning about special education and what we call an IEP, an individual education plan. So for Michael, the teachers and the faculty were very in favor of trying to move him to a different school. And as a parent and as a lawyer, I trust the experts. I don't know anything about this. I went in completely blind to what the regulatory framework was for IEP and special education. So fast forward, Michael gets that IEP and needs to attend a therapeutic day school that would help him with his anxiety. However, they didn't have bus service. It would have to be cabs. And I wasn't going to let my little guy, my kindergartner, on a cab by himself with an adult. So I opted to drive him every day. And I am so blessed that I was able to do that. And when I was traveling or if I was away, I'd have a friend pick him up from that same school. Well, as time went on, we realized, my wife and I, that this wasn't sustainable. This was madness. In order to work 2 jobs full-time and have 2 young kids and travel in crazy places, it was not giving us the kind of life that we had thought we wanted. And so we moved. We moved to St. Charles, Illinois. And Michael, with his IEP, was told he'd be attending a different school. Obviously, we'd moved away from the northern suburbs and we're now in the western suburbs. He began attending a school that was the Community School for Special Education. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a panic attack. It's terrifying. It is debilitating, and it is hard to comprehend or explain. And for Michael, he had those same challenges. It was hard to explain what was going on for him. Well, what he ended up finding out as time went on was that this therapeutic day school that he was now attending was not really a therapeutic day school. It was more of a place where anyone from kindergarten to high school would attend, one building. Every day, he'd be picked up by the bus, and he would go to the school. And I learned things that I didn't know were happening. It took me months to finally figure out what was going on. He would have these panic attacks at home. He'd have night terrors. If you closed a door, he would begin to hyperventilate. He'd begin crying and worried and scared. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it at all. And it wasn't until I read an article in the Chicago Tribune. And the article in the Tribune talked about, in Illinois, these things called calming rooms. They have benign names, little rooms that sounded completely harmless. At his school, he had a purple room. And I asked him one day, when I read the article, what would happen in these rooms? They would take kids that were defiant or overwhelmed, and they would lock them in the room And they would lock children as young as 5 or 6 in padded rooms with barred doors, and they wouldn't allow the child to leave. The child would be in the room screaming for help, for their parents, and those calls were ignored. So I asked Michael, I said, Michael, have you ever experienced anything like this? A room when you get locked into, and his face went white. He said, yeah, it's called the Purple Room. And I said, Michael, tell me about the Purple Room. He said, well, if I get overwhelmed or I can't regulate my emotions, I can't regulate myself, I get too much, they take me there. And I said, tell me what it was. What is it like? And the first time he told the story, the first time going, the social worker that he works with led him towards it. And they walked in together. And as he was looking around, she stepped out and barred the door. 6 years old, locked in a room, screaming, terrified. And so I called an IEP meeting. I wanted to know, why did you do this? Why did you put him in a room and not tell me? I would have come and picked him up. I would have come and picked him up. I would have taken care of it. Why didn't you tell me? And then my lawyer hat comes on, and I say, how many times has he been locked in that room? How many times? They said, well, we don't know off the top of our hand. We'll give you that information. Well, they got it for me. More than 10. More than 15. That's why he has panic attacks when I shut my door at night, or shut any door in my house. So I went and called that IEP meeting. And I said, look, I don't know why you use this. You will never use it for my son again. If you are not as scared of that room as my son is, you will be. You will be. Now, special education is super hard. It is so challenging. And I can honestly say I don't have the bandwidth to ever do that kind of work. It is so important and so essential. But Michael's experience was different than most kids. His class was 6 people. And these were kids that had all sorts of challenges. He watched incredibly violent acts take place at his school. And over the last few months, working with social workers and IEP advocates and attorneys. Oh, that's one thing I'll tell you. As a lawyer, you know exactly what it's like to hire an outside attorney to help you. It's expensive, it's terrifying, and you just know you need the expert's help. Enough of the sad things. Michael had to be able to earn back the right to attend the homeschool. The homeschool is where, if he didn't have this IEP, he would be going to the homeschool. Michael will tell you all sorts of stories about his time at Mates Johnstone. So many stories. He liked some of the kids, he liked some of the students, he liked some of the teachers, but it was a very strange environment. Every day you're frisked. They search you. If you don't comply with a direct order, it's the most restrictive educational environment in the state. Think of it like a prison. I'm not trying to be pejorative. This is how that school and many schools operate. And if you do not comply, that purple room is waiting for you. And you'll be locked in there until you calm down. And if you get scared by being locked in a room, if you get frightened, that sucks, doesn't it? That does suck. Listen, today is Michael's final day at that school. He will begin attending full time. He's been transitioning for a period of time. It's been challenging. He's done an amazing job. Today's the last day. And the joy in his face last night and the joy in his face this morning have been incredible. Incredible. I regret not understanding what he was going through every single day. I don't forgive myself. I don't know if I ever could. But it has brought me closer to my faith. It has brought me to understand that these challenges build us and make us who we are. I have done really interesting things in my career, so many interesting things. But I've never overcome the obstacles that my Michael has done. And I am so proud of him and what he has accomplished. So today is one of the best days of my life. We gave him the objective, and he crushed it. He crushed it. I'm proud of my little boy. I am so thankful for anyone who watches these videos, who likes, follows, subscribes, whatever it is that the machine tells you to do. That Easter basket is from Michael. This is his idea. He's brilliant. Isn't he brilliant? Of course he is. He's a great kid. We're at 11 minutes. Longest video I have ever done as a monologue. Here's what my advice is. Here's what my advice is to everyone listening. Talk to your kids about the problems. Talk to your kids about what they're scared of. Because you were that person before. You were that kid who was too scared to talk about the things that you were sad or upset or ashamed about. It's our job to chase the problem. It's our job to say, how can I help you thrive? I don't need to know what you've achieved. You're not going to earn my love. It is here unconditionally. I will meet you where you are. And for any people, and I know there's some of you out there who have kids that have gone through the special education program or have any number of challenges, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'll pray for you. I will root for you. I will help you. And if you want to just talk about this world that we live in and the challenges that your kids face, you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all in this together. 12 minutes, that's long. Hey, we'll wrap it up. We have more things to do. A lot of cool stuff happening. But today is a day to celebrate Michael. One of the most amazing kids I have ever met. And I'm proud to be his dad. All right then, we're done, right? We'll call it quits. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.